Marcus Oliveira had everything money could buy. 3 companies, a $2 million mansion, imported cars, but on that Thursday in April, he abandoned a $1 million meeting to follow a homeless man through the streets of São Paulo. What he discovered at São Pedro Cemetery didn't just change his life. It destroyed everything he believed about success, dignity, and the true meaning of wealth. This is a story about 2 men. One who had everything and had lost his soul. Another who had nothing but kept a treasure that no vault could protect. Marcus Oliveira woke up at 5:30 a.m. that Thursday, like every day. His alarm played the same irritating sound he had purposely set. "If it doesn't bother you, you won't wake up," he used to say. His mansion in Alphaville was silent. Too big for one person. 3 floors, 7 bedrooms, heated pool, empty. He divorced 2 years ago. Mariana couldn't take the constant absence anymore, the switched priorities, the man who put spreadsheets before people. "You love your companies more than you love me," she said the day she left. Marcus didn't even try to argue. It was true. He showered in the marble bathroom imported from Italy, wore a navy blue Armani suit, the same one he wore for important meetings, and looked in the mirror. Marcus was 45 years old, but looked 50. Grey hair at the temples, expression lines around his eyes, not from smiles, but from tension. He hadn't smiled in a long time. "Success has a price," he murmured to his reflection. At breakfast, prepared by a housekeeper whose name he barely knew, Jessica, Marcus checked his emails on the iPad. 47 unread messages since last night. One caught his attention. It was from Daniel Fonseca, CEO of Tech Brazil, about the 10 a.m. meeting. "Marcus, this acquisition is worth $2 million for each of us. Don't be late. These Americans are punctual." Marcus smiled. $2 million. More money for accounts that were already full. More success for a life that felt increasingly empty. He didn't know it, but in exactly 3 hours and 17 minutes, his definition of success would be completely destroyed. São Paulo woke up as always, chaotic, rushed, indifferent. Marcus got into his black Mercedes-Benz C3. Genuine leather, Burmester sound system, air conditioning that maintained exactly 21 degrees. A bubble of comfort amid urban chaos. At 9:23 a.m., he entered Paulista Avenue. Heavy traffic, as always. Glass buildings reflecting the morning sun. Rushed businessmen, street vendors, skaters, street artists, and of course the invisible ones. At every traffic light, they appeared. Men, women, sometimes children. Asking for coins, selling candy, cleaning windshields without permission. Misery amid opulence. Marcus had developed a skill over the years, not seeing. Looking through them as if they were ghosts. "If you give to one, they all come," he used to justify. At the traffic light, on Augusta Street, a man about 60 years old, dirty, with torn clothes, approached the window. Marcus was about to look away when something made him stop. The man wasn't asking for money. He was holding a bouquet of daisies. White flowers, fresh, carefully wrapped in old newspaper. An absurd contrast. That poorly dressed man, with an unshaving beard, holding flowers as if they were precious crystals. Marcus observed him. The man didn't knock on the window, didn't extend his hand. He just waited for the light to turn green, delicately adjusting the flowers. There was something in his eyes. Even through the dirt, the disheveled appearance, there was dignity, purpose. The light turned green. Marcus should turn right, head to the office, get the final documents, and go to the $2 million meeting. But his eyes followed the man, who began walking down the sidewalk with determined steps, protecting the flowers like a father would protect a child. Where did a homeless man get flowers like that? The question echoed in Marcus's mind. And then something happened. Something that Marcus Oliveira, the rational man, the calculating businessman, could never fully explain. He parked the car. "I doing?" He looked at his watch. 9:31. The meeting was at 10 o'clock. He needed the documents at the office, which was 20 minutes away. If he left now, he'd be late. $2 million. But his eyes went to the sidewalk, where the man was already about 50 meters away, walking slowly, but with determination. Marcus grabbed his phone and typed to Daniel, "Going to be 30 minutes late. Unforeseen circumstances. Start without me." The response came in seconds. "Marcus, what's Steph? This isn't professional. They'll leave if we're not all there." Marcus turned off his phone and got out of the car. The morning sun hit his face. The noise of the city, horns, conversations, music from some street vendor invaded his ears. When was the last time he walked on the sidewalk of São Paulo? Really walked, without hurry, without destination? He didn't know. The man with the flowers was turning onto a side street. Marcus quickened his pace, keeping a safe distance. He felt ridiculous, a businessman in a suit, following a homeless man as if he was some kind of private detective. "I must be going crazy," he thought. But he didn't stop. Marcus followed the man for 3 blocks. And the more he observed, the more details he noticed. The man walked slowly, but not from exhaustion. He walked with care. With each step, he checked the flowers, adjusted the paper, made sure they were protected from the sun. They passed in front of a bakery. The smell of fresh bread filled the street. Marcus saw the man stop for a second, just a second, inhaling the smell. His eyes closed briefly, perhaps imagining the taste, perhaps remembering when he could buy it, but he didn't go in. He moved on. They passed a second bakery, then a third. The same scene repeated. The man stopped, inhaled the smell, moved on. Marcus felt something strange in his chest. When was the last time he felt hunger? Real hunger, not just its lunchtime. He couldn't remember. After 15 minutes of walking, the man stopped at a small square. There was a public fountain there, one of those old ones, with running water. Marcus hid behind a tree, feeling increasingly absurd, but something kept him there. A curiosity he hadn't felt in years, maybe decades. The man carefully placed the flowers on a bench. Then he bent over the fountain and washed his face. Water ran down his grey beard, cleaning days, maybe weeks of dirt. He washed his hands too. Scrubbed carefully, cleaning under his nails. Marcus noticed that the nails were already relatively clean. The man did this regularly. Then, with his hands still wet, he picked up the flowers and sprinkled a little water on them, delicately, as if he were caring for a baby. Then he did something Marcus would never forget. The man held the flowers at eye level, examined each petal, each leaf, and smiled. A genuine smile from someone who was proud of something. "You look beautiful," Marcus heard him whisper to the flowers. "She like it." Marcus leaned against the tree, his heart beating faster than it should. Who was she? A wife? A daughter? And why did that man, who clearly had nowhere to live, spend money on flowers? Marcus's phone vibrated. It was Daniel again. "The Americans are waiting. Where the hell are you?" Marcus turned off his phone completely. For the first time in 20 years of career, he simply turned off the phone. 2 million could wait. This couldn't. The man stood up, picked up the flowers with the reverence of someone holding something sacred, and continued walking. Marcus followed him. As he walked, something began to awaken in Marcus's mind. Old memories, buried under years of meetings, contracts, and profits. He was 8 years old. It was Mother's Day. His family was poor. His father had abandoned them years before, and his mother, Donna Helena, worked as a housekeeper in 3 different houses to support him and his 2 brothers. Marcus remembered picking daisies in a vacant lot. Wildflowers, but beautiful. He tied them with a red string he found in the trash. When he got home, his mother was exhausted, her hands red from scrubbing floors. Marcus extended the flowers, shy. "For you, Mum." Donna Helena stopped, looked at the flowers, then at him, and then did something Marcus never forgot. She cried, "They're the most beautiful flowers I've ever received, my son." She placed the daisies in a glass with water. They didn't have a vase, and left them on the living room table for a week until they completely wilted. "Do you know why daisies are my favorite?" she asked days later. "Because they're simple but beautiful. Just like our life. We don't have much, but we have love, and that's beautiful." Marcus shook his head, returning to the present. When was the last time he thought about that? When was the last time he thought about his mother, beyond, "I need to visit her grave one of these days"? 3 months? 4? 6? He didn't even remember. Finally, after 25 minutes of walking, they arrived at Snow Pedro Cemetery. Marcus knew that place. His mother was buried there. Section C, Block 7, Grave 23. He knew the location by heart, but not the way there. He always got lost among the paths. The man stopped at the main gate. For a moment, he just stood there, looking inside. He adjusted his torn shirt, ran his hands through his disheveled hair, trying to tidy up. It was like watching someone prepare for an important date, a date with someone special. Marcus waited for the man to enter and then followed him, keeping his distance. Snow Pedro Cemetery was old. Founded in 1945, it had century-old trees, cobblestone paths, tombs from different eras. Some enormous mausoleums from wealthy families. Others simple, just a cross and a name. The man walked with familiarity. He knew the way. He turned left, then right, past the old chapel, went straight to the section of simpler graves. Marcus followed him among the trees, hiding behind mausoleums when necessary. He felt increasingly like an intruder, not just in the cemetery, but in this story that was clearly intimate, personal. But he couldn't stop. The man finally stopped in front of a simple grave. Very simple. Just a small headstone without adornments, with grass growing around it. Marcus approached silently, hiding behind a grave about 10 meters away. From there, he could see and hear. The man knelt on the ground. He carefully placed the flowers in front of the headstone. Then, he took off his torn shirt and used it as a cloth to clean the headstone, scrubbing carefully, removing dry leaves, cleaning each engraved letter. Marcus could read the inscription, Helena Silva, 1943-2022, beloved mother, never forgotten Helena. The same name as Marcus's mother. The man finished cleaning and put the shirt back on, all dirty with earth now. He arranged the flowers one more time, making sure they were perfect. And then he began to speak. "Hi, Mum." The man's voice was soft, broken by emotion. "I brought your favorite flowers again. Daisies. You always said they were simple, but beautiful. Just like our life, remember?" Marcus felt his chest tighten. "It's been 3 years today, Mom. 3 years since you left. It feels like yesterday that I was holding your hand in that hospital bed, promising I'd take care of everything, that I'd be okay." He laughed bitterly. "I wasn't okay, Mum. Sorry, I tried. I swear I tried, but after I lost my job, after I lost the house, after I lost you, I lost myself too." Tears began to fall down his dirty face. "You know what's funny? I had 35 years of signed employment. 35 years. I worked my whole life. I was honest, arrived early, left late. And when the company went bankrupt, nobody wanted to hire me. 'You're too old,' they said. 'We're looking for younger professionals, more connected with technology.'" He wiped the tears with the back of his hand. "I was 58 years old, Mum. I wasn't old, just experienced." Roberto continued talking, and Marcus heard the whole story. Roberto Silva was born in 1964 in Campinas. Only child of working parents. Father a metal worker, mother a seamstress. At 18, he got a scholarship to study accounting at USP. He was the first in the family to enter a university. "You were so proud, remember, Mum? You sewed my graduation outfit with your own hands." He graduated in 1986 and got a job at a textile company. Started as an assistant, moved up to junior accountant, then senior. Met a woman named Christina, married in 1990. You loved Christina, didn't you, Mum? You two spent hours talking in the kitchen. They had a daughter, Beatrice, in 1992. Bea, you were crazy about her. You said she had your eyes. Everything was going well. Roberto worked hard, Christina was a teacher, Beatrice was studying medicine. A simple family, but happy. Then, in 2015, the textile company went bankrupt. Competition with Chinese products, bad management, debts. It was closed overnight. Roberto was 51 years old and had 29 years of service at the same company. I didn't worry much at first, Mum. I had experience, good references. I thought in a few months I'd be working again. But he couldn't. He sent 200 resumes, went to 50 interviews, always the same response. You're overqualified, or we're looking for someone younger, or simply, we'll keep your resume on file. The months turned into a year, then 2. Christina was patient, Mum. I swear she was. But the money ran out, the bills piled up, we had to sell the car. Then the furniture. And when we had to take Bea out of college, his voice completely failed. Christina couldn't take it anymore. She didn't love me anymore. She loved the provider I was. When I could no longer provide, the love ended. She asked for a divorce in 2017. Alone, Roberto fell into depression, stopped looking for work, stopped leaving the house. The bills accumulated until the bank took the apartment. And then you got sick, Mum. Helena was diagnosed with lung cancer. In 2021, she lived alone. Her retirement barely covered the bills. Roberto, even without money, without a home, went to take care of her, slept on the hospital floor for months. He always said, Roberto, you're a good son. Everything will be okay. But it wasn't, Mom. When you died, I didn't even have money for the burial. I had to ask the hospital social worker for help. He touched the headstone tenderly. This grave here. You're in a common grave, Mum, with 20 other people. That kills me inside every day. You deserved something better. You deserved a place of your own, with a beautiful tomb, with your name in big letters. The tears were flowing freely now. But I promise, Mum, when I get a job, when I save money, I'll give you a real grave. You'll have a dignified place. I promise. Marcus was crying. He didn't even notice when it started, but tears were running down his face, wetting the collar of his $5,000 suit. That man Roberto had nothing, literally nothing. He slept on the streets, went hungry, was invisible to society. But every week he collected coins by begging at traffic lights, bought flowers, and came to honor his mother's memory. And Marcus, what did he do? When was the last time he visited his own mother's grave? When was the last time he said, "I love you" to someone and really meant it? He had 3 companies. Roberto didn't even have a house, but who was richer? Roberto stayed there for a few more minutes, talking with the headstone about his week, about a stray dog that sometimes followed him, about the hope of getting a job. "I didn't give up, Mum. Even when it seems impossible, I don't give up. You taught me that. Where there's life, there's hope," you used to say. Finally, he stood up. He kissed his fingertips and touched the headstone. "See you next week, Mum. I love you." He turned to leave and suddenly stopped. Marcus was there, 3 meters away. Tears still wet his face. His suit was wrinkled from leaning against trees and tombs. Roberto took a step back, startled. I didn't do anything wrong, sir. I just came to visit my mother." "I can be here. It's a public cemetery." Marcus tried to speak, but his voice failed. He wiped his face with his suit sleeve. "I know," he finally managed to say. "I saw the flowers. They're beautiful." Roberto relaxed a bit, but was still confused. "Daisies. They were her favorite." Marcus nodded. "They were my mother's favorite too." They stood in silence for a moment. 2 strangers from completely different worlds, united by the same pain, the same loss. "Why did you follow me?" Roberto finally asked. Marcus took a deep breath. I can't explain. I saw you at the traffic light with the flowers, and something made me want to know where you were going, where those flowers came from. You followed me for over half an hour because of that. I had a meeting, a $2 million meeting." "Sir, you clearly have money, but I don't have what you have," Marcus interrupted. "You don't have a house, but you have purpose. You don't have money, but you have honor. You have nothing, but every week you come here, bring flowers, keep a promise." He pointed to the daisies. "I have millions, but I can't remember the last time I visited my mother. And she's here, in this cemetery. Section C, Block 7, Grave 23. But when I saw you walking with those flowers, as if they were the most precious thing in the world, Marcus stopped, searching for words. I needed to understand. Roberto looked at him, really looked. Saw the expensive suit, the luxury watch, the Italian shoes. Also saw the red eyes, the tears, the vulnerability. Understand what? How someone who has nothing can have more than I do. Roberto frowned. I know the location, but I can't find time to come. Marcus sat on the grass, not caring about the suit. You made me realize that I'm bankrupt, completely bankrupt. And you're the richest man I've ever met. Roberto sat beside him, keeping a respectful distance. Sir, I'm not rich. I sleep under a bridge. But you have something worth more than any bank account, Marcus said, looking at him. You have character, integrity, love, honor. He extended his hand. My name is Marcus Oliveira, and I'd like to offer you a job. Roberto looked at the extended hand, then at Marcus's face, searching for signs of a joke or cruelty. A job. I own 3 companies. I need a chief accountant. Someone with experience, with ethics, with heart. So I don't have appropriate clothes. I don't have updated documents. I don't have, Roberto, Marcus interrupted gently. We get documents, we buy clothes, but character, you already have that. And it's the only thing I can't buy. 6 months later, Roberto Silva was no longer the homeless man at the traffic light. He worked as chief accountant at Marcus's main company, at a simple apartment in Pinjarras, and every Thursday, at exactly 4 p.m., he left the office. Marcus knew where he was going, because now, every Thursday, Marcus also left at 4 p.m. They would meet at Snow Pedro Cemetery. Roberto went to Donna Helena's grave, which now had a new, beautiful marble headstone with her name engraved in golden letters. Marcus had paid for the transfer to an individual plot. Marcus went to his own mother's grave, which he now religiously visited every week. On that specific Thursday, 6 months after their first meeting, they walked together through the cemetery paths. Roberto carried daisies. Marcus carried red roses. You know, Roberto, Marcus said, that day I thought I was following you to discover a secret. And were you? Marcus smiled. Yes, but the secret wasn't yours. It was mine. What secret? That I was living, but wasn't alive. That I had millions, but was the poorest man in the world. They stopped at a crossroads. Roberto would go left, Marcus would go right. You saved my life that day, Marcus said. Roberto shook his head. Sir, you saved mine. No, Marcus said firmly. You showed me what really matters. You showed me that success isn't how much money you have. It's how much love you carry. It's whether you keep your promises. It's whether you honor those you love, even when they're gone. He placed his hand on Roberto's shoulder. I had everything and had nothing. You had nothing and I had everything. It was you who saved me. Roberto smiled, his eyes welling up. Then we saved each other. Yes, Marcus agreed. I think we did. They separated. Roberto went left, Marcus went right. As Marcus walked toward his mother's grave, he thought about everything that had changed. He had sold one of the companies and reduced his workload by 50%, started therapy, began talking to his ex-wife again, not to reconcile, but to make peace. Started an employment program for people over 50 in his companies, created a foundation that helped homeless people. But most important of all, he learned to see, really see, the people, the stories, life happening around him. He arrived at his mother's grave and carefully placed the roses. Hi, Mum, he said, kneeling. Sorry it took me so long to come back, but I'm here now, and I'll keep coming. Every week, I promise. He touched the headstone. I met a man who taught me the true meaning of wealth. A man who had nothing but had everything. And he made me remember something you always said. Daisies are simple, but beautiful, just like life. We don't need much. We just need love. Single quotes. Marcus smiled through the tears. I understand, Mum. I finally understand. And as the sun set over Snow Pedro Cemetery, two men, one who had to lose everything to find what mattered, and another who lost everything but never lost the essential, honored their mothers, their promises, and life's most important lesson. Wealth isn't what you have, it's what you carry in your heart.